Next on 4 News Now Nightside, a little bit of snow today caused big problems on the road, and there will be plenty of icy streets for the morning commute in your First Alert forecast.
An attempted murder suspect, Benjamin Foster, has been taken into custody after an hours-long standoff with police tonight.
Community leaders say they're done working with city officials for police accountability and reform. Why they're leaving the table. You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Well, that little bit of snow that Chris was talking about may not be enough to shovel, but it is definitely going to slow people down on the morning commute. So let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker with your First Alert forecast.
Well, we were taking in snowfall totals ranging from less than a half an inch to up to 2 inches of snow in some isolated spots, but it was sticking to the roadways, and roads are slick throughout the Spokane area. I've noticed that the street crews are out treating some of the main arterials for your morning commute, but those side roads are a mess, and we do have the possibility of a few more flurries overnight tonight on top of those already icy roads. We did not get above freezing today, and right now we are in the 20s and teens around the region. The exception, Lewiston at 35, but it's 22 in Spokane, 3 degrees in Coeur d'Alene. We're in the mid-20s throughout the Spokane area and won't be dropping much from our current readings. Now, perhaps more importantly, the road temperatures. Here's a look at our current road temperatures around the region. Also in the 20s, and they're going to be staying below freezing through the morning commute as well. But here's some good news for the rest of your day. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning with a little bit of heat from the sun, not much heat from the sun. The road temperature gets a lot warmer than the air temperature, so we should be able to do some pretty good melting by about noon. Things will be improving dramatically. In your Wednesday planner, we're only heading up to a high of 33, but we haven't been above freezing for 3 days, so we're moving in the right direction. Expect cloudy skies, possibility of a few flurries. I'll tell you more about that and about warmer, wetter weather in the 7-day forecast. Kirsten.
Thank you, Chris. Now to some breaking news out of Oregon tonight. Attempted murder suspect Benjamin Foster has been taken into custody after an hours-long standoff with police. This is video with police surrounding a home where he was hiding out.
You've described him as extremely dangerous. Why is that?
The scene was horrific. This is a bad man that needs to be captured. We don't believe he is randomly picking people. We believe he is formulating a relationship with people.
Well, the manhunt began in Grants Pass, Oregon last Tuesday after Justine Seaman was found by police bound and severely beaten nearly to death. Now she is on life support. Foster is accused of attempted murder, kidnapping, and assault. He has a prior history of domestic violence. One victim managing to escape 2 weeks of captivity with 7 broken ribs, black eyes, and injuries all over her body. New on Nightside, mystery at the zoo. That's not the name of a Nancy Drew novel. It is what is actually happening at a zoo in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas police and zoo officials are investigating a mysterious string of break-ins and missing animals. Workers found the zoo's emperor tamarins enclosure slashed with 2 of the monkeys gone. Police say an intentional cut was made. They have since been found inside a closet in an abandoned house. It's the 4th suspicious event at the zoo in just a month. On January 13th, a clouded leopard named Nova went missing. Officials say that enclosure was intentionally cut as well. Police used drones and infrared technology to search for the big cat. Nova was found 7 hours later near her original habitat. Later that day, a similar cut was found in the langur monkeys enclosure, but they were all there.
Also really disturbed by the idea that someone might have intentionally done this.
And days later, Pin, an endangered lappet-faced vulture, was found dead with a wound described as suspicious. Pin had been at the zoo for 33 years. The zoo says only 6,500 lappet-faced vultures are alive today worldwide. In response, the zoo is stepping up security and limiting access to some of the animal enclosures overnight. Police want to question this recent visitor at the Dallas Zoo about the monkeys that went missing. They are offering a $10,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of whoever is responsible. New on Nightside.
Hi. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, a little scary. Yeah, it's a 4-foot Tree snake, one family found in their toilet in Australia. Experts say it's not uncommon to see snakes. They often make their way into homes during summer months looking for water. The snake catcher calmly retrieved the snake before releasing it back into the wild. Don't want to sit on those.
No more shots from
That's
the
for
inside
sure.
of a toilet bowl, please. Not tonight.
Nightmares. That's what nightmares are made of. A Boeing bid farewell to an icon at their factory north of Seattle today. They delivered their final 747 jumbo jet as thousands of workers looked on. John Travolta, who has flown 747s, was also in attendance. In the last 55 years, the 747 has been a cargo plane, a commercial plane that could carry nearly 500 passengers, a transport plane for NASA space shuttles and the Air Force One presidential jet. It's being replaced by a more fuel-efficient wide-body plane with 2 engines instead of 4. Spokane community leaders say they're done working with city officials to bring more police accountability and reform. Tonight, they issued demands.
Following the protests and riots over the death of George Floyd in 2020, the city asked the community to join roundtable discussions to create new policies for Spokane police focused on equity and officer accountability. And in just the last few hours, several community groups, including Spokane NAACP, PJALS and SCAR, issued a joint statement of grievance you can see on your screen, saying in part about the ongoing discussions, quote, "This process was constantly undermined by Mayor Woodward, Chief Meidel, and law enforcement representatives."
New on Nightside, Rania Kaur tells us what these community groups want and why city officials say it's an ongoing process.
Those groups who shared their perspective with the city of Spokane in roundtable discussions believe meaningful progress hasn't been made. The city of Spokane says they're holding police accountable, starting with the hiring process and monthly reviews to evaluate use of force. Frustrations this afternoon at the Hive.
And most of the many paid and unpaid community members who answered the city's invitation in good faith have nothing to show for their time.
Everyone's safety, time, and freedom to thrive is valued. This is just part of a statement released by the Spokane Community Against Racism tonight that also quotes the late Sandy Williams. You get tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again, and nobody wants to listen because they don't want to hear it. Because if they hear it, really hear it, then they have to do something.
These community conversations were riddled with issues of inequality, disrespect, bad faith participation, and undermined by those in charge.
Progress indeed has been slow. But we have reached the point as a group where it was time to finish the work.
The mayor and Spokane Chief Craig Meidel says they are holding the Spokane Police Department accountable. Every patrol unit wears a body camera in Spokane, and every month, Chief Meidel says, the Spokane Police Department reviews the amount of force.
Even those uses of force that have been determined to be in policy are reviewed once a month by a use of force review board to determine was there something we could have done better or different, even though this was within policy.
The statement released by the Spokane Community Against Racism says, in part, almost none of the policy proposals brought by Council President Brian Beggs in 2020 have moved forward.
A lot of what is on there are things that our police officers are doing. But there are some items that deserve a lot more conversation, will need to be debated, because I think we need to be very careful about passing things locally that will have unintended consequences.
In the end, these officers will have that free choice of violating policies and violating laws. And I think what we also have demonstrated is that we will hold those officers accountable when they do that.
Going forward, the mayor says the city of Spokane is now focusing on the state level. The mayor says they want a fix to the Blake decision, which changed the drug accountability law in Washington state. In studio tonight, I'm Rania Kaur, 4 News Now.
Rania, thank you. New on Nightside, the Justice Department wants to look into Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving systems. Tesla confirms the DOJ has requested documents related to the technology. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating Tesla's systems already after reports that some autopilot-engaged Teslas had crashed into emergency vehicles. A government report indicates the autopilot technology was partly to blame for a fatal accident. But Tesla argues autopilot is safer than normal driving because it keeps vehicles in their lanes.
Well, housing prices are going down. According to the Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index, November was the 5th consecutive month home prices declined, but they're still 7.7% higher than last November. The Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes have priced out most prospective home buyers, and the possibility of a recession could also be holding buyers back. New on Nightside, just weeks after her daughter's death, Priscilla Presley is heading to court contesting an amendment to Lisa Marie Presley's will, which removed her as a co-trustee, saying she should have access to the trust. According to court documents, in 2016, Lisa Marie removed Priscilla and her former business manager as trustees, but Priscilla is questioning the authenticity of that amendment, claiming Lisa Marie Presley's signature appears inconsistent with her usual and customary signature, adding the change was neither witnessed nor notarized.
It's going to be her burden to prove that the amendment was effectively invalid. But if it was lack of notarization and no witnesses and other issues, then they could say that it effectively wasn't executed. The other way to go is to claim fraud. And it seems that she's kind of making both arguments.
In response to this court challenge, a source close to Lisa Marie says she and her mother had a strained relationship. As things currently stand, Lisa Marie's daughter is the sole trustee, also receiving an inheritance worth millions, including her share of what was left of Elvis's fortune. Lisa Marie died at the age of 54, suffering cardiac arrest just 2 days after the Golden Globes.
And some big news for some former Gonzaga basketball stars. Andrew Nembhard will participate in the NBA Rising Stars game during All-Star Weekend. Big deal. Nembhard was one of 20 rookies or second-year players selected to play in the game. Nembhard, who was the 31st pick in last year's NBA draft, is averaging a little more than 8 points a game and has found himself a spot in the starting lineup for the Indiana Pacers. The NBA Rising Stars game is on February 17th in Salt Lake City. And former Gonzaga women's basketball star Courtney Vandersloot announced she will not return to the Chicago Sky next season. Vandersloot did not announce where she will play next. Vandersloot spent 12 years with the Sky after being selected 3rd overall in the 2011 WNBA draft. The 4-time All-Star helped Chicago to its first ever championship in 2021. Vandersloot will be back in Spokane on February 11th when Gonzaga retires her jersey at McCarthy Athletic Center. And we will talk high school hoops. Tonight's Spirit game at Spokane Arena was the battle for the rubber chicken. Who won that? That's coming up in our full sportscast.
Julian, thank you. New on Nightside, with the price of eggs rising, the Moses Lake Police Department not taking any risk. Take a look at this picture of the department's security team escorting the valuable cargo of 24 eggs to a local market. One officer said he knew the value of the cargo, so he handcuffed himself to the padded glass case just to be safe. Moses Lake PD doesn't actually escort eggs, but it did make for a fun photo shoot. Excellent work, guys.
Eggs are expensive.
Yeah,
okay.
Crazy. We'll find out which foods are associated with higher rates of cancer.
And the impact screen time can have on young minds.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Pure Filtration Products.
In every child, there is hope. In every child, there is joy. Joy exists to shine a light and to show every child is limitless.
Well, tomorrow marks the beginning of Black History Month. EWU's African Studies program is celebrating with a series of special events.
It'll kick things off with a business pop-up featuring Black-owned businesses in the Inland Northwest.
You can learn more about it tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest.
Low E has hurt my ability to perform.
He hasn't been able to make the bed in years.
Now there's hope. Now through January 31st, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and turn your low energy into big fitness energy in 2023 in a clean and spacious, judgment-free zone with tons of equipment to get you energized.
Low E, not for me.
Simply join through the free PF app for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends today.
I feel safer when you're in the building.
Over 10,000 stars.
History making.
5 U.S. presidents.
The funny man.
Yes. And 20 years of explosive, iconic, heartfelt.
Are you sure about that?
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
All children deserve a safe place to be a kid. At Northeast Youth Center, the staff provides a positive, secure, engaging environment for kids to thrive. Help make a difference in a kid's life by purchasing your tickets to the Building Brighter Futures fundraiser, Saturday, March 4th at Northern Quest Resort and Casino. This event raises money to support low-income, at-risk youth in our community. Find out how you can become a sponsor and buy tickets today at SpokaneNEYC.com.
Imagine if information came with a nutrition label. Then you'd know if what you're consuming has the right mix of facts, sources, and context. But it's on us to make healthier choices about what to consume, share, and act on. Get Newslit Fit at newsliteracyweek.org.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
Only a half-inch of very light, fluffy snow at the airport today. We are running above average season today at almost 10 inches above average, and that little bit of snow is stuck to the roads in many locations. Some of the main arterials they're treating and getting a handle on, but the side streets are especially icy and will be tomorrow morning. 20 for a morning low. Tomorrow a high of 33 degrees. We're late enough in the season that our roads should get quite a bit warmer than that, and we'll make a little bit of progress. Finally getting above freezing also is nice. On our satellite and radar, there are still few just isolated spots where we're seeing a few flurries, plus this snow falling around the Moses Lake area, which is not making much progress in our direction. And the forecast radar has that fizzling out. However, we have another very weak disturbance coming through. Here's Wednesday at 4 a.m. and that is going to stay mainly to our north, but just wants to clip into the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area right after the morning commute. So we might not be completely done with that very light snow, but after that system clears, any precipitation we get later in the week will more likely be a rain-snow mix, because our warming trend continues, even though we're going to start the day off tomorrow in the teens and 20s, and high temperatures will be running below average at 33 in Spokane, 37 degrees in Coeur d'Alene. Then we're up to 36, back up to average on Thursday with some sunshine possible. Wet weather Friday through the weekend. Right now it doesn't look like it's going to amount to much, and expect more rain than snow down in the valleys. Little bit better chance of some measurable precipitation on Sunday, but those high temperatures up above freezing and above average in the 40s. The February forecast from the Climate Prediction Center was released today. I'll let you know how that looks for the month that starts tomorrow in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. New on Nightside, eating ultra-processed foods is associated with higher rates of cancer, especially ovarian cancer. That's according to a new study of nearly 200,000 people in the United Kingdom. The study in the journal eClinical Medicine looked at the association between eating overly processed foods like hot dogs and donuts and 34 different types of cancer over a 10-year period. And they found each 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption was associated with a 2% increase in developing cancer and at 19% increased risk for being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. The risk of dying from ovarian cancer also rose by 30%. New on Nightside, a new study shows drug use among teens was down during the first year of the pandemic compared to years before. But adult use of cannabis, illegal drugs, and alcohol during the pandemic either rose or stayed the same. One of the reasons teens used fewer drugs, according to an NYU professor not involved with this study, is probably because they were separated from their friends and likely didn't have the same access to drugs. In early teen years, the U.S. Surgeon General says kids are still developing their identity, and social media can have a major impact. That's why some doctors say 13 is still too young for kids to be on social media, but keeping them off those sites may be easier said than done. Pediatric psychologist Ariana Hoet says deciding whether a child is ready for social media starts with these questions. Do you have an open and trusting relationship with your child? Will they respect boundaries and expectations? And will they come to you if there's a problem? If you answer those questions and feel they're ready, Hoet says to set up a family social media plan.
and you talk about the safety, you talk about what you're posting, how to interact with others, who you're following, and keep checking in with the child. Being ready doesn't mean I'm going to give them access to this thing and walk away. You still want to think about, how do I monitor? How do I continue to stay in a partnership with them on how they're using it?
She also says to set limits, consider taking devices away at bedtime so sleep isn't affected. If your child is struggling with a mental health issue like ADHD, depression, anxiety, or eating disorders, Howitt says those are extra things to think about when it comes to social media use.
Now we have a consumer alert for Rao's soup. If you have an egg allergy, you might want to check your pantry for Rao's soup. Certain jars labeled with chicken and gnocchi soup may actually contain vegetable minestrone. And that flavor has egg in it. The affected jars have a best by date of November 15th, 2024. The FDA's website lists more specifics about which jars are included in the recall.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
I'm Chad Young from the Easy Home Buyer, and I pay cash for houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast for cash, call us today for your no obligation as-is cash offer. We buy houses in any condition, and there are no fees, no commissions, and no repairs. We buy houses with tenants, fixer-uppers, bare land, even haunted houses. Woo! Call us today or visit us online at theeasyhomebuyer.com.
Pick up the phone to inquire. Call the Easy Home Buyer.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. After decades of waiting, new legislation has just been passed that finally offers justice to the countless Marines and their family members who experienced devastating health effects after being exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune. So if you or a loved one were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, toxic water may be to blame. Call right now to find out if you qualify. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-435-6817. 1-800-435-6817.
Big Table helps restaurant and hospitality workers in crisis and transition, offering care, coaching, and support.
Too often, the person preparing or serving your food is struggling to put food on their own table. Big Table serves hope through crisis intervention and relational care.
Numerica Credit Union is honored to partner with organizations like Big Table as they help enhance lives, fulfill dreams, and build communities.
Check out more organizations that make our community stronger at numericacu.com.
4 News Now is brought to you by Mainstream Electric Heating, Cooling, Plumbing.
Thanks for staying up with us. For the first time, the video of the former president under oath in the case against his business. A longtime critic of those who take the fifth, pleading the fifth more than 400 times.
I decline to answer the question. The same answer. Same answer. Same answer.
You are currently the president of the Trump Organization, is that correct?
Same answer.
Well, Mr. Trump once said taking the fifth was for gangsters and the guilty.
See, the mob takes the fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
In his August deposition in New York State's civil fraud investigation, Trump said he had no choice. The New York Attorney General has accused Trump, his eldest children, and his company of numerous acts of fraud, including grossly inflating Trump's net worth.
Our high temperature today, about 10 degrees below average, 27, 17 our morning low. But this represents a warm up, and that warming trend is going to continue for the next few days. 33 tomorrow, up to 36 on Thursday, back up close to average, and then a little bit above. By this time next week, our average high is 38 degrees. However, by this time next week, we may be heading down into another cooling trend. This is the February preliminary outlook released today from the Climate Prediction Center, and it is calling for below average temperatures for the entire western United States. We're not in a dark blue, but a trend toward cooler than average conditions that is especially pronounced down in parts of Nevada, California, Arizona, and Utah. Meanwhile, this is probably good news. We have a chance of above average precipitation, and that is centered right over the inland northwest. Our snowpack is running just a little below average, and we're in prime snowpack making time right now, February, March. So if we could get the storm track bringing some snow to the mountains and maybe sparing our roads a little bit, that would be probably the best case scenario. Got some snow in the mountains in the Kootenai Valley. Gorgeous picture. Now, this was taken yesterday when we were enjoying that bright blue sunshine and cold weather. Our friend Than Winder in Boundary County shared this photo. Just gorgeous. Oh, love this area. We'll be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Gold Seal Plumbing.
What is going on with you? Since I've been writing obituaries, I've been weirdly stuck in my head. Now I'm breaking it down. We were the same age.
Yeah, except you got old and you died. I know, super sadsies.
I'm getting really tired of listening to dead people. I've had it with you ghosts. You are not coming with me.
Oh, wow, that's a perk.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Starting this Thursday, Robin Roberts is taking you on a live adventure into the land of Kiwis. No, not these Kiwis. These.
It feels good.
The people, the Kiwis of New Zealand, and the spectacular wonder of their magical land. The glaciers, geysers, waterfalls, penguins, dolphins, all the breathtaking natural beauty and the threats they're facing. And see for yourself live what some call the astonishing 8th wonder of the world, from the sky and on the water.
I will follow you.
Robin journeying on chopper, plane, foot, boat, and even bungee. Sky jumping at the birth of the bungee jump off the Sky Tower in Auckland. Wait, are you kidding me, Robin?
It feels good.
It's GMA Live from New Zealand. G'day, Robin. The adventure starts this Thursday morning, only on ABC's Good Morning America.
Well, the Spirit Games continue. Welcome into sports. I'm Julian Minnesome. Spirit Week is so unique to Spokane. 2 rival schools going head-to-head on the court, but also showing off the school spirit. Tonight's matchup between Lewis and Clark and Ferris was for the battle for the rubber chicken. Started in 1983. This is the 40th year of competition, but with the COVID year, the 39th for the actual game. The series is tied at 19 heading into this one. Which team will take the lead? We start with the boys' game. Ferris started the game on a 10-0 run. Dylan Scaife, easy money from the free throw line. And how about Reese Snellman pulling up from deep? But Lewis and Clark got their mojo back in the second quarter. Brett Zimmerman knocks it down from beyond the arc. But that's when Ferris turned up the offense, especially in the second half. Peep the athleticism from Jordan Taylor. That's why you stretch, folks. Can't teach that. Ferris wins 45-32 in the boys' version of the rubber chicken game. So Lewis and Clark was looking to get it back in the girls' game against Ferris. Early on, it was all Lewis and Clark Tigers. Lewis and Clark moving it around on offense. V-Tran spots up and knocks it down. Lewis and Clark led 18-2 after the first quarter alone. But guess what? Here comes Ferris. Kayla Jones finds a sweet spot on the court and buries the easy 2. But this game, the girls' game, belonged to LC. Olivia Baird says thank you very much. Baird finishes with ease on the other end. 47-32. Lewis and Clark wins. Lewis Lewis and Clark girls get the victory. Ferris boys win, but the winner of the rubber chicken judged off more than just basketball. It was determined that Lewis and Clark brought more school spirit, and they're keeping the rubber chicken for another year. And as you could see, the crowd absolutely loved it. And Washington State men's basketball has some pretty big games this week as well. Maybe not as big as the rubber chicken, but the Cougars will head to L.A. for one of their toughest road trips of the season. Washington State will take on USC on Thursday and number 9 UCLA on Saturday. The Cougars beat USC earlier this season, but lost to UCLA. Playing in L.A., a different story. Washington State hasn't won at USC since 2015 and haven't won at UCLA since 2009. When it comes to playing in Southern California, Cougars head coach Kyle Smith says it isn't the environments that make it tough. It's simply that USC and UCLA always have talented teams.
Atmospheres aren't intimidating necessarily. There's more intimidating places in the league. I just think there's, a lot of good talent in L.A. These two teams have a lot of guys, usually composed from L.A. and good coaching. It's a long trip too. It's not just a hour flight. It's good ways for us to get down there and get settled in. And we had some good opportunities in recent past, but haven't been able to seal the deal.
Tip-off between Washington State and USC is set for 8 o'clock on Thursday night from Los Angeles. And former Gonzaga basketball player Andrew Nembhard will participate in the NBA Rising Stars game during All-Star Weekend this year. He was one of 20 rookies or second-year players to be selected to play in the game. Nembhard was the 31st pick in last year's NBA draft, and he's averaging 8 points a game and is in the starting lineup now for the Indiana Pacers. And you can catch Nembhard in action in the NBA Rising Stars game on February 17th from Salt Lake City. And former Gonzaga women's basketball star Courtney Vandersloot will not return to the Chicago Sky next season. Vandersloot did not announce where she will exactly be playing next, but she spent 12 years with the Sky after being the 3rd overall pick in the 2011 WNBA draft. The 4-time All-Star helped Chicago to its first ever championship as well, and that was in 2021. And Vandersloot will be back in Spokane on February 11th when Gonzaga retires her jersey at McCarthy Athletic Center. That'll wrap us up for sports.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
This is the sound of a generation rising above. The Commemorative Air Force honors the heroes of yesterday while educating and inspiring the heroes of tomorrow. Learn more at commemorativeairforce.org.
Spokane's hottest music.
Break me for so done with you, girl. I've been popping, man, I feel just like a rock star.
Hot 96.9.
The 2023 Mazda CX-9 with standard iActive all-wheel drive. It's nimble, it's intuitive, it's a 3-row CUV that doesn't drive like one.
The 7-passenger Mazda CX-9. Get it for your family, drive it for yourself. We have over 60 Mazdas in stock now at Foothills Mazda. Take yours home today or visit SpokaneMazda.com.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
Well, hopefully all the Teenagers at the Rubber Chicken made it home safe on icy roads. Those roads are still going to be icy on the drive to work and school tomorrow. Main roads treated, 24 degrees in the morning. We're heading up to a high of 33 with overcast conditions. Wouldn't rule out an isolated flurry mid-morning. 36 is our average high.
That's something to watch for. Thank you, Chris. We were watching those basketball players with their special handshakes. Julian, do you and Alex have a special handshake?
Not yet. That is the next evolution in the sports department dynamic right there. We're working on it, though.
We still don't have the rubber chicken either.
Yeah,
That's something to work on.
Did you not bring us back a rubber?
No. Yeah.
That wins.
You had one job.